All right, Rebecca, is this the first time you've watched this movie that's pissing you off?
It's the first time.
It's the first time.
You had never seen it?
I had never seen it and had no idea it was still Halloween because just watched the scariest movie I've ever seen. Of course, talking about the classic Christmas movie, Love Actually.
Love Actually is my favorite horror film. That is a nightmare.
Why is that?
Have you seen the scene with Alan Rickman and the sweet mom with like the pixie haircut? Emma Thompson.
Is this the one where he cheats on her and has to tell her and she breaks down? I haven't seen the whole thing, but I remember that scene.
Merry Christmas.
This is objectively the worst holiday film of all time because you hear everyone talk about how it's like this great film. This is like the UK's like favorite holiday film, and they're like, oh my god, I love Love Actually. Harry Styles, I used to listen to growing up. Every interview, they would ask him what's your favorite movie, and he would say Love Actually. And so finally, as an adult, I'm sitting there with my mom. It's like Christmas Eve. We've got some hot cocoa, and I'm like, you know what? My favorite British singer, Harry Styles, says he loves Love Actually. We should turn it on. 5 minutes in, it's people banging on screen butt naked. It's terrifying.
Yeah, nobody told me how horny this Christmas movie is. So I watched it for the first time in 2024 and found it, in a word, disturbing. But one thing that was so freaky to me is the gross misjustice done to every single female character in this movie.
Facts.
I can't say I regret watching it because it did introduce me to one of the best fake movie songs ever made.
Is this guy like the burned out rocker?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That almost makes the movie worth it. It did give like an extra star on Letterboxd for me. But no, the women of this movie, they're like suffering, y'all.
Mm-hmm. This movie did not age well.
No.
This movie didn't age well at all.
So I have ranked almost every single woman portrayed in this movie on a scale of victimhood.
And remember, Keira Knightley was 17 years old when she did this movie.
That's crazy.
Which makes it really gross.
But she looks quite pretty, don't she? She does. She do, Abby. She do.
Do it with the tooth like this.
I look quite pretty.
She invented teeth acting.
No, that's jaw acting.
Was she one of the ones that was like in one of these nude scenes at 17?
No.
She married, love.
What's crazy is Thomas Brody Sangster, who plays like the little kid who has a crush on whatever. He's like 15 in that movie. He's like 2 years younger than Keira Knightley. It's but she looks 25.
It's bananas.
Okay, we're going from least victim to most victim. And first up is Joanna number 1, who is Liam Neeson's dead wife.
That tells you something. She's dead and she's the least victimized.
The one that died.
So she's barely in the movie as she's dead.
Yes.
So she cannot be victimized by this movie.
Got
So she gets a safe pass.
And they do have better health care over there, so yeah, they're fine.
Number 2, Mia. Slut. She's the biggest ho in this Christmas movie. She is the secretary who hits on Alan Rickman, gets a nice piece of jewelry that should have gone to his wife.
Is it nice? It was a heart.
It was giving Pandora like a little bit. But,
I object. This woman is not a victim. You think this woman is more of a victim than the woman who died of cancer?
I'm going least to most victim.
Oh.
Yeah. She's not a victim. She's kind of a girl boss, actually.
Also, she fell in love with Professor Snape. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
She doesn't have great taste.
No, like, I get it.
Oh, so he has the affair with her?
Yeah.
And then has to tell the wife? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, he doesn't tell the wife.
She finds out.
She finds, spoiler alert, this film is 21 years old. She finds the jewelry, and on Christmas, she gets a present for him, and it's just Joni Mitchell, and then she starts crying, and it's probably the most traumatic scene in movies I've ever seen.
I must have watched more of this than I wanted to admit, because I know everything you guys are talking about. Okay.
Very disturbing.
Next
Number
victim.
3, Aurelia. So Aurelia has it made. She's the Portuguese housekeeper who shacks up with Colin Firth, who literally learns Portuguese to go propose to her in France. Like, this is probably the most romantic moment in the movie. She is not a victim. She's living.
What? It's wild. They don't even speak the same language. How can you connect? And then all of a sudden he's proposing?
Because love knows no language.
I mean, it is Colin Firth.
Okay, it's the universal language.
At least it's romantic in a purported romantic Christmas movie. And that brings us to Judy. And Judy's story is the weirdest. She is the professional stand-in for the sex scene in the movie. She has to slap bits with the guy who goes on to play Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit. I'm telling you, they end up at the end and that's cute, but that's not a victimless crime.
She chose this.
Yeah.
She chose this life.
She's number 4. Okay, we have to talk about little Joanna. This is Joanna number 2. She is the American child that the little kid is obsessed with to the point that he follows her to the airport. That's a threat, first of all. And I know that this movie was made after 9/11 because they mention it in the first 5 minutes of the movie. She's a victim.
Why did they mention 9/11?
Yeah, it seems random.
Because they wanted to make this the most traumatic Christmas film of all time. They're like, how many trauma dumps can we put in 2 hours?
Literally, I'm not even kidding. I think it's like the first 45 seconds. They mention the victims of 9/11.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Okay, this is when I've been passionate, but I'm about to get even more passionate because this is when the true victims begin.
Okay.
Because number 6, Juliet. Keira Knightley.
She does look quite pretty.
Yeah, what happened to our love?
So she's the one who famously is forced to watch as her new husband's best friend confesses his love to her over a poster board.
Yeah.
But that's not even the worst thing. Literally, the worst thing is what happens before this when the best man shows her the video that he taped of her wedding, and it's all super close-ups of her face. If there wasn't a romantic score behind this would be Saw.
Yeah, it would. It's creepy.
It's very the child bride getting hit on by her husband's best friend, and then she has to keep that secret from her husband or break up their friendright. It's an a-hole move all around.
And then she runs out there in the snow and kisses him.
So weird.
She's a child bride. She doesn't know better.
Arrest him.
Girls, wait, get him with that head.
Okay, number 6. This is the one that bothers me the most because you would think Natalie has one of the best stories.
She does.
She gets to shag the super hot new young prime minister played by Hugh Grant, but her whole story is just how fat she is.
Yeah.
They act like she's morbidly obese. Look at this woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her biggest crime is her wardrobe, honestly.
They call her chubby girl. They talk about her massive thighs and arse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay, yes.
her story arc, she gets sexually harassed by the president of the USA. Topical.
After probably feeling coerced into sleeping with the prime minister so she can keep her job.
They're way ahead of their time on that one.
2 victims stand before me.
Okay.
But only one can be the true Love Actually sufferer. And this might actually be controversial.
If you don't pick Emma Thompson to be the number 1 victim.
I'm rioting, love.
The runner-up is Karen, played by Emma Thompson.
Wow, she's a runner-up?
She is the runner-up. And I know most people would pick her to be the final victim. She's cheated on by Snape with his secretary. She finds us out on Christmas Eve. That sucks.
Yeah.
You know what's worse?
What?
What happens to Sarah?
Yes.
AKA
yes.
Laura Linney.
Yes.
What happens to Sarah?
Justice for Sarah.
So Sarah almost gets a chance at happiness. She comes like this close to hooking up with her hot coworker who she's been obsessed with, but instead of getting laid by the hot, talented Latino man in her office, she spends her Christmas with her mentally ill brother at the psych ward who literally tries to beat her up.
I forgot about that.
She should have been beating something else up.
You know what?
She's the number 1 victim.
I completely agree. I am Abby Murphy, and I approve this message.
Thank
You know
you.
what? You convinced me. I stand by your rankings, Rebecca.
Thank you. I had a feeling you would.
Yeah.
Kristen Klingshirn endorses this message. Okay.
The Bert Show.